I didn't go to college as a composition major. I don't know if you know this or not, but
Did you have the option to? Because I didn't even have an option
oh
initially.
yeah,
Yeah,
I did an undergraduate degree in composition eventually after I changed my major twice.
gotcha.
Um, I went to school for as a music ed student. Um, that lasted a year, and then I was a very serious percussionist, Tyler. Like I was a very serious percussionist. I was doing music ed because that was the typical, like I was advised to do that
Yeah, of
for
course.
employment and things like that, and that's good. It's fine. And I was doing that, but I was really serious. Even in high school, I was a very serious percussionist. I mean, I was an all-state percussionist and all that stuff, and I practiced every day. I had two teachers. I had an orchestral teacher. I had a drum set teacher. This was like that became pretty clear to me early that I was somehow going to be a percussionist or a drummer or whatever. And a music ed degree at school gave me a chance to continue practicing and doing all that stuff. And I had gone through like the public school music education system, and I liked that. I thought I could be a part of that. And so after a year, I changed to percussion, and that lasted for a semester. And what happened was I was taking these class piano classes. Like I said before, I wasn't a pianist. I did end up taking piano lessons for 2 years in high school, but I never got to be that good. But in college, everyone had to take these keyboard skills classes where you just learn basic keyboard skills. And I think it was 3 semesters of keyboard skills. And one of the last exams was you pick a solo from one of these books, piano solo, or you could write your own solo. And I did that. I was like, oh, why would I pick one of these when I could just make one up?
Yeah.
I wrote it out. I learned it. I played it for the exam, and one of the piano professors who was at the exam, the way they did it was like a panel of like 3 people. It was like way too serious, probably for what it was.
Yeah.
One of the
Like a
piano
jury.
professors, yeah, one of the piano professors came up to me right after I finished playing, was asking me about the piece, and assumed I was a composition major, and said, "Wow, it's so great to hear a composition major play one of their own pieces for these. I don't know if we've had that before." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not a composition major," and he seemed very surprised. And he said, kind of off the cuff, "You should be." When I said I'm not a composition major, you said
Yeah.
you should be. I tell you what, like that was really serious for me. I
Those 3 words.
like when I like my whole mentality, my whole life changed when he said you should be, because I said to myself, should I be? Like maybe I
Yeah.
should be. I've been doing this for fun all this time, but you know what? I'm pretty. I don't know if I'm good at it or not, but I'm pretty prolific. I compose a lot. I was composing every day for fun. Mostly wasn't showing anyone stuff.
Yeah.
The next day, I was in the advisor office at the University of South Carolina, where I was doing my undergrad, looking into changing my major to composition. She had advised me to go meet with one of the composition professors, which I did, and he told me the process. I got all my scores together. I went to a FedEx Kinko's copy center in town, and I got scores like printed out all the wrong way, of course, and poorly bound, and had the plastic cover over, like science fair project cover over it. And I brought them all back to the School of Music. That was my portfolio. But I had already written all these pieces, and it was like there was like an art song in there, there was a percussion ensemble piece, there was a string orchestra piece, there was a solo piano piece, a couple other things. I had all this music, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a portfolio. I submitted it, and the next fall I started as a composition major, and got some scholarship money added to what I had already, which was nice, from the composition area. But I'll tell you what, that wasn't though when it's a long answer to your
No,
question.
it's great.
That wasn't when I decided that I wanted to be a composer. That wasn't it. You know, I, that was when I decided I wanted to devote more time to the thing that I was having a lot of fun doing. But I was still, and in my mind and out loud, a percussionist. That was what I was going to do. I was going to be a percussionist. But hey, I always wanted to learn more about composing, and here I'm doing that. And it kind of didn't matter to me what degree I ended up with. No one seemed to really care.
Yeah.
I knew it was in music, whether it was music ed, performance, composition. I didn't drop the percussion degree though yet. I eventually did.
Mm.
I eventually
Yeah.
did, but I was a double major for a year or something in composition. It was a composition theory degree and percussion performance. So that was it. I started taking composition lessons that year. that I became a composition major, the university hired a new composition professor, and there were there were four composition professors there. And the new person they hired is the person I ended up studying with, who really, took my thinking to the next level, exposed me to things that I never would have known about, really challenged me. And his name was John Fitzrogers. And John Fitzrogers was my first real private lesson composition teacher that I ever had, like junior year of college, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
for the end of my second semester, sophomore year. It was off by a semester. I ended up graduating in December. I don't remember what happened, but I was switching not at the end of years, but like at the end of semesters, mid academic year. So yeah, I studied with John Fitzrogers. I was playing percussion like as serious as ever. I had formed a rock band. We were touring in the summers, kind of like regional tours between this anywhere from like Jacksonville, Florida, up to like the New York area. And that band was a band that I was playing drum set in and also songwriting with. It was a really collaborative kind of group. And I was playing at that time with three different professional orchestras as a sub, and eventually, graduated with a composition degree as someone who was mostly active as a percussionist.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Micromaker by Loose Leaf Transmissions. We hope you enjoyed this brief glimpse into the inner workings of the creative life. If this resonated with you, be sure to check out the full conversation on Music Maker with Tyler Kline, a podcast exploring craft and process, philosophy and inspiration, and the honest, often messy parts of being an artist, creative uncertainty, purpose and identity, and resilience. You can find Music Maker wherever you get your podcasts or by visiting musicmakerpodcast.com.